President Hunt, Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is a signal honor, a very great pleasure, and a challenging responsibility. In addition to the honor of this great audience, I am doubly honored to learn that the beloved leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, President David O. McKay, is viewing this program with his lovely companion in their apartment at the Hotel Utah. God bless them. They are true patriots. Humbly and gratefully, I stand before you, grateful for patriots such as you, humbled by the magnitude of the task before us. I speak to you as a fellow citizen of the United States of America, deeply concerned about the welfare of our beloved country. I am not here to tickle your ears, to entertain you. I will talk to you frankly and honestly. The message I bring is not a happy one, but it is the truth. And time is always on the side of truth. As the German philosopher Goethe said, truth must be repeated again and again, because error is constantly being preached round about. I realize that the bearer of bad news is always unpopular. As a people, we love sweetness and light, especially sweetness. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that every mind must make a choice between truth and pose. Those who will learn nothing from history are condemned to repeat it. This we are doing in the Americas today. George Washington stated, "Truth will ultimately prevail where there are pains taken to bring it to light." To bring the truth to light is our challenge, this day and every day. "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Returning recently from 2 years abroad has caused me to reflect seriously on recent trends and present conditions in our beloved country. I am shocked and saddened at what I find. I am sorry to say that all is not well in so-called prosperous, wealthy, and powerful America. We have moved a long way and are now moving further and more rapidly down the soul-destroying road of socialism. The evidence is clear, shockingly clear, for all to see. With our national prestige at or near an embarrassing all-time low, we continue to weaken our domestic economy by unsound fiscal, economic, and foreign aid policies which corrupt our national currency. Ever-increasing centralization of power in the federal government in Washington, D.C., is reducing our local and state governments to virtual federal field offices, while weakening individual initiative, enterprise, and character. With the crass, unconstitutional usurpation of power by the executive branch of the federal government, anti-spiritual decisions of the Supreme Court, all apparently approved by a weakly submissive rubber-stamped Congress, the days ahead are ominously frightening. Surely, certainly, it behooves patriotic citizens such as you to meet together to seriously consider present conditions in our beloved nation. It is imperative that American citizens become alerted and informed regarding the threat to our welfare, happiness, and freedom. No American is worthy of citizenship in this great land who refuses to take an active interest in these important matters. All we hold dear as a great Christian nation is at stake. In leaving for Europe 2 years ago, I could not help but feel a very deep sense of anxiety for this great land of America, which had just passed through a terrible crisis. To have the President of the United States suddenly torn from his high office by the violent hand of an assassin was an insidious and dastardly act which struck at the very foundation of our republic. All of us felt the impact of it. All of us caught the ominous spirit of tragedy and sorrow which accompanied it. Each of us sensed in a very personal way the heartbreak which had come to the Kennedy family. But after the services and burial were over, we also realized something else. There was the cold, stark reality that the assassin's murder of President Kennedy was just one more monstrous treachery in the long list of crimes against humanity which have been inspired down through the years by the godless philosophy of communism. It was communism that sowed the seeds of treason in the mind of President Kennedy's assassin. This is something which must not be forgotten. And now, 2 years and 1 month later, I am appalled at the shortness of our memories. When the events surrounding President Kennedy's assassination were remembered last December, practically no mention was made of Oswald's communist affiliations, nor the present communist threat to our society. Have we so soon forgotten that communism sowed the seeds of hate that destroyed our president, and that communism continually seeks to subvert and destroy our complete way of life? The assassination of President Kennedy, the daily slaughter of our boys in Vietnam, the communist control of the Berkeley riots, and communist-inspired demonstrations from coast to coast should serve as a shock therapy to that segment of our population who like to call themselves liberals. America is big enough to make room for many different kinds of thinking, but many liberals have claimed to see virtues in socialism and communism which I, for one, have not been able to find. To promote their ideas, American liberals have become a highly organized, hardcore establishment in the United States, and they have been excusing their appeasement and coddling of communism on the ground that they were being tolerant, broad-minded, and working for peace. But the assassination of President Kennedy should have jolted them into a realization that they have been pampering, protecting, and promoting the very nest of serpents which produced Lee Harvey Oswald. The diabolical spirit of murder and violence which struck down the president is that same spirit of communist violence which has been allowed to spread its terror into the heart of every continent upon the face of the earth. Perhaps those who have been apologists for this conquering Marxist, socialist, communist movement might now agree to reconsider the fatal decision they have been following. Two additional things happened in connection with this tragedy which are worthy of comment. First was the speed with which the communist leaders spread the word that the slaying of the president must have been the work of American conservatives. Moscow has conducted a 5-year campaign to make American conservatives look like hysterical fanatics. It has called them rightists, extremists, and even fascists. Within an hour after the assassination and before Oswald was captured, Moscow was assuring the world that this crime was the product of the rightist movement in the United States.